Congruent triangles. Congruent triangles are like any other set of congruent shapes. They're the same shape and they're the same size. Corresponding, that means matching, angles and sides are equal. Now there's some useful bits of information when we're looking at triangles, and we'll just go through them. So if we're not certain, this little marking here means that those two sides are equal. So the little line on those two means AC, side AC here, is equal to side DF. And in the same way, when it's two lines, that says those two sides are equal. So the two line marking means that they're equal, so AB is the same as DE. And this triangle hasn't told me anything about these sides, so I don't have every bit of information. The little marking here inside the angle, the little dark circle, means that those angles are equal. So angle C equals angle F. And you'll often see similar sort of markings. Sometimes it might be an open circle. Sometimes they might have given me an angle measurement, such as here. So if they told me that's 90 degrees and that's 90 degrees, we know they're equal. I left out the fact that that's 30 degrees. Sorry about that. Now, if they told me that this is 30 degrees, since I know these two angles and those two angles are the same, the third angle has to be the same as well, because all three angles add up to 180 degrees in any triangle. Notice how we can use triangle now as a little symbol to mean triangle? It's quicker. So that's an important piece of information. If I know that's 30 and I know those two are the same, I know that would be 30 as well. Now there's a new word I need to teach you, and that new word is hypotenuse. And I'll label the hypotenuse up here and then tell you what that is. The hypotenuse is the name for the longest side in a right-angled triangle. Not all triangles have a hypotenuse, it's only triangles with a right angle. And there's a thing about angles and sides. The longest side is always opposite the largest angle, and the shortest side is always opposite the smallest angle. So the hypotenuse, because it has to be, it's the longest side, it has to be opposite the largest angle, and in a right-angled triangle, that's the right angle, the 90 degrees. So the hypotenuse is opposite the 90-degree angle. So see how the two short sides make the 90-degree angle, and the longest side isn't touching the 90-degree angle. So it's a new word, hypotenuse, and we need to know that one. Now, what we also need to know is congruence tests for triangles. We don't have to prove that all three sides and all three angles are equal to know that two triangles are congruent. So here I know all three matching angles are equal, and I know two sets of matching sides are equal. I don't know about that one last third side, but that's actually enough information to say that they're congruent. That triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Remember, is congruent to, like an equal sign with an extra line. And this is why it's enough information. It's because there's congruence tests. We actually only need to have three things in common between two different triangles. And if they're the right three things, we can prove those two triangles are identical, they're congruent. Now there's four different sets of 3 bits of information that can work for this. And each test, is this triangle congruent, has its own little name. So this is the side, side, side rule. SSS stands for side, side, side. And if I've got two triangles and they've got 3 pairs of matching sides that are the same length, so these two are the same length, those two are the same length, and those two are the same length, that's enough to say they have to be congruent. And with a triangle, it's enough just to say they have 3 identical sides between them. Sides are equal, congruent. Now this only works for triangles. This is the congruence tests for triangles. So if I've got a triangle and I can see that all three sides are the same on the two triangles, that works. Now that test doesn't work for these pair of triangles because I can't be sure that this side is the same as that side. So that congruence test wouldn't be good enough. This is the side angle side rule. Now this has a little bit of a trick to it. You've got to put the angle in the middle when you write side angle side. And that's because the angle has to be in the middle of the 2 pairs of matching sides that are equal. So these 2 sides are equal, these 2 sides are equal, and the angle in between them is also equal. So we write side angle side, SAS, partly to avoid writing a rude word, but mostly because the angle has to be between the 2 sides, and that's called included angle. It's included between those 2 sides. Sorry about the bell there. Angle side, any 2 pairs of matching angles are equal and 1 matching side. So those are equal, and 1 side's equal. These are congruent. And right angle, hypotenuse side. This is why we needed to know hypotenuse. A right-angled triangle has hypotenuses are equal and 1 other pair of sides is equal. So with these triangles, I can't use side, side, side. I could use side, angle, side. Side, I know that's 30, angle, side. I could use right angle, hypotenuse, side. Or I could use angle, angle, side, because I know 2 angles and a side.